Hi, this is a continuation of my last video on the Trump-Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office, showing some evidence that this was like a mockumentary, which is meant for entertainment, but mimics a documentary, with handheld cameras, naturalistic, unscripted appearing dialogues, and zooms and quick pans for dramatic effect by showing reactions. In mockumentaries we also have people breaking the so-called fourth wall, such as talking heads. While we have those also in real documentaries, we have them knowingly look at the camera, react and even smirk in an exaggerated, awkward or comic way. Interestingly, my last video is now partially blocked on YouTube in some countries or regions, and it is also not eligible for monetization. But with the tiny viewer numbers, that doesn't make any difference. However, you can still find it on my Telegram and Odyssey channels. In this video I wanted to go back to the last election in Germany from a few days ago. In particular, I wanted to show clips from the last debate before the election and demonstrate how scripted it appeared, and in fact that it even gave away the outcome of the election. Before we start, one more thing. Before the election we had the so-called traffic light coalition. So the three parties were the SPD, which are the Social Democrats, who used to be for the workers and for social fairness, but in the last 3 years they destroyed that through mass migration, degrading working conditions and excessive spending. Second party was the Green Party, which used to have slogans like "Never again war" or "Don't send weapons to conflict areas", but completely turned around and additionally destroyed Germany's energy security. And finally, the FDP, which used to be pro-business, but with excessive spending, digitalization and globalization, this is now over too. So let's see how these parties, including the CDU, the former Conservative Party before opening borders in 2015 under Angela Merkel, the Left Party, which is the former SED Communist Party in former East Germany, which shot at people trying to cross a wall or a fence. Finally, the AfD, which is a new conservative party, which basically has the same program as formerly the conservative CDU party. So note there are no English subtitles, but I will summarize what they say, and in the end it doesn't matter so much, as I will focus on the body language. Okay, finally, let's get started. Here on the very left we see the Alliance Sarah Wagenknecht, so she split off the left party here. Then here next we have the Social Democrats, here's the Green Party, here's the Liberal Party, meaning the pro-business party, and here the covered up, that's the Christian Democrats. Here is the Bavarian part of the Christian Democrats, and here on the far right we have Alice Weidel, that's the Alternative for Germany.
Es darf nicht über Europa, es darf kein Diktatfrieden über die Ukraine hinweggehen, und deswegen ist die Frage, wie wir finanziell ausgestattet sind.
So here, Social Democrats, quite sleepy, boring, uninspiring. So that kind of range is covered by that guy. He was of the traffic light coalition, and he's likely again part of the new coalition. Even though they lost lots of votes, he would still be considered one of the winners.
Eine der entscheidenden Zukunftsfragen, wo wir sagen, wir dürfen nicht nationale Interessen gegen die Verteidigungsfrage ausspielen.
So here we see the impression quickly from the Christian Democrats. The eyebrows go up, that is surprise. Let's go back.
Deswegen wird die Frage der Reform der
That's quite a long surprise facial expression. That means it's played. And then he looks down, more introverted. Quite a serious guy.
Schuldenbremse auch hier jetzt eine zentrale Frage sein.
Diese Regierung ist
So now he's next. So you just saw the dismissive look towards the Social Democrats, saying that the government, the current one, is isolated. not one of the big players in Europe anymore. So let's look at this again.
Diese Regierung ist de facto.
Very dismissive look. Didn't even look at him directly. Eyes half closed, indicating how boring this government is. So he was in the opposition and he is now one of the winners of the election.
Diese Regierung ist de facto isoliert. Sie hat keine Führungsrolle in Europa übernommen. Diese Woche lädt Macron ein.
A lot of negative, serious emotions, shaking the head, very negative.
Stundenweise war der Bundeskanzler dort. Nächste Woche fliegt Herr Macron, der britische Premier. Herr Starmer fliegt zu Herrn Trump. Deutschland ist nicht vertreten. Wir müssen als Deutschland wieder eine Führungsrolle in Europa übernehmen. Nicht von oben herab, sondern mit Frankreich, mit...
So he wants Germany to take on a leadership role again. He uses very strong emphasis on certain words, emphasizing the leadership.
Polen mit einer starken Europäischen Union. Und dann werden wir eine Priorität setzen. Und das ist die Verteidigungsfähigkeit Deutschlands und Europas. Und die wird sitzen.
Die Regierung ist gar nicht vorbereitet auf das, was da passiert. Wir stellen fest, dass in den letzten Monaten seit der Wahl von Donald Trump es keine ausreichende Kontaktaufnahme gegeben hat, es keine Gespräche darüber gegeben hat, was passiert hier jetzt von Seiten der Vereinigten Staaten.
So they're essentially all saying the same things, that Germany should take more leadership, invest in military, and going after Trump, criticizing him. So he is also from the Christian Democrats, the Bavarian part. So he is supposed to look calm and serious, experienced, educated with his high forehead and the glasses, moderate, thoughtful. He also just lifted the chin up in between, exposing his weaker areas, indicating his superiority.
Amerika, die stellen sich neu auf. Es kann möglicherweise
So very eloquent, his body moves congruent with his speech. Immediately tend to trust him, don't we?
Auch zu einem Vakuum in Europa kommen.
So he's moving his head like a boxer, back and forth, dynamic, yeah, cool, eloquent, slick almost. So he is one of the winners again, as I said, the Christian Democrats. So we can here already see he's the most believable guy, the most trustworthy. Here we would guesstimate he will win, and he won. Or the party won.
Und die entscheidende Frage ist, füllen.
Here, Alice Weidel from the Alternative for Germany, even she looks at him, and we saw this movement. There's technically a signature of sadness, but also admiration. So even she is supposed to admire him at this moment. A kind of a sign of defeat and admiration, acknowledgement, a quiet moment of recognition, kind of a humble, contemplative reaction. So she is not one of the winners, even though she won some percentages. She's not playing a central role here in this debate. She is not part of the new government. We can see this here already.
Wir dieses Vakuum, dieses
Even here, resignation.
Sicherheitsvakuum, oder wird es auf der anderen Seite irgendwann Putin tun? Das dürfen wir nicht zulassen.
And also he speaks the longest, I would say.
Deswegen stellt sich diese Frage einer neuen
We see him from different perspectives, different angles. We see his hand movements. He looks like the winner here.
Sicherheitsarchitektur sehr wohl.
Mit der Politik von Donald Trump ist.
Here, Christian Lindner from the Liberal Party, the formerly pro-business party. So here he already misspoke. He looks pale, he looks down, he looks almost frail. So his party didn't even make it above the 5% threshold to go into parliament.
Endgültig eine andere internationale Politik.
Here even his voice is cracking, there's a rough voice.
Verbunden.
And here we heard a heavy gulp, so indicating worry. So here we can feel already his sense of impending doom.
Politik wird gemacht, Russland, China, USA. Das ist gegen die Regeln.
So here we see him tiny from far away and he looks at the other people left and right. So that's a sign of asking for approval. So here is tiny, you can forget about him. And he's not even part of parliament anymore.
Basierte internationale Ordnung und den Multilateralismus gerichtet.
They all say the same thing. Germany needs to step up against Trump and become militarized.
Das heißt, wir müssen uns rüsten. Die Zeit der moralischen Appelle der feministischen Außenpolitik ist vorbei.
So here he looked at Annalena Baerbock from the Green Party to his right or our left. So here he made the important statement, and it was the main purpose of having him here, that he said it's the time, the era of feministic foreign policy is over. Now the men have to come back and we need strong men and military. So that statement would not have been possible before. Now he can say it. He's part of the demolition team. The old stuff can get out of the window and something new will come. But he's also not part of it.
Bisher haben wir.
So here now she played the sulky, huffy, hurt little schoolgirl. She now is presented as being emotional, a bad loser, and her party lost heavily. Her job was to destroy the energy. The Liberal Party's purpose was to destroy the businesses, and that is achieved. They can leave now. She moves uneasily around on her chair. You see also a bit of disgust here. The mouse corners are pulled up. So she is one of the losers. But she did her job.
Bisher haben wir uns immer
Yeah, here also the fake smile. That's defeat. And her chin goes back. She is done. And she stepped down already. So she's not gonna be even part of the Green Party, or she plays no big role in the new Green Party after that election. She's done.
duzt.
Es war nie richtig, diesen Krieg in einer Schwarz-Weiß-Zeichnung zu sehen.
So here we see the probably most important person people had the most hope for in this election, the Alternative for Germany. They just won a few percentages, not enough. Let's say the party wasn't selected. So we see already she is not playing an important role in this debate. She's very passive, defensive. She has no strong words. She could go after her opponents, destroy them for what they have done to Germany with mass migration and energy policies and so on and so on. But no, there's nothing about it. She's wearing a turtleneck, so that's a very defensive position to be in. She is like a turtle hiding. Her time has not come yet. This little clip even doesn't look real to me, so I'm already wondering what this means.
Hier geht es Interessen.
She says it's about power and interests, and some other guy we hear saying wow, so mocking her. She has really nothing to say here. She is playing a very minor role.
Und der
You saw the mouse corner go up a little bit. Total contempt. Cold look. Eyes squinting a little bit. Fearful.
Angriffskrieg war völkerrechtswidrig, aber hatte eine...
And here we see him smiling. He's the winner of that election. He smiled into the camera. So now we have the breaking of the fourth wall. There are multiple cameras in this room, presumably. So he picks the right one. This is part of a mockumentary.
Krieg war völkerrechtswidrig, aber hatte eine Vorgeschichte, die immer ausgeblendet wurde. Und dementsprechend halte ich es für wichtig, dass man sich an den Verhandlungstisch setzt.
Very stoic, very boring, nothing to say.
Und wirklich eine Perspektive nach vorne einnimmt, um diesen Krieg so schnell wie möglich zu beenden. Naja, zunächst.
Now we see Sarah Wagenknecht from her alliance, so a split of the left party. She always comes across as very knowledgeable and serious and reliable. She looks quite confident, even when she's interrupted by the moderator. She does not ask for approval. She looks straight ahead. Her outfit, her hair is always supposed to remind us that she is part of the former SED party. She is supposed to raise some cognitive dissonance in the viewer.
Manchmal zeigt sich ja, dass es möglich ist, Verhandlungen zu führen. Also ich erinnere mich immer, wenn andere...
So she and Alice Weidel, they're the only two who are against military solutions.
auch ich dafür geworben haben, diesen Krieg auf dem Verhandlungsweg zu beenden. Und wenn wir argumentiert
She wants to negotiate.
haben, militärisch wird dieser Krieg nicht enden. Immer mehr Waffen verlängern den Krieg, aber die Ukraine wird ihn nicht gewinnen. Da wurde uns immer entgegengehalten, Putin will nicht verhandeln, es gibt keine Möglichkeit. Und jetzt merken wir ja sehr deutlich, es ist offen.
She's very calm, continuous, even with interruptions. Her party didn't even make the 5% threshold, so the idea was here she just stole enough votes from the Alternative for Germany to prevent them from making any serious progress. Mission accomplished.
War eine Möglichkeit da, diesen Krieg auf dem Verhandlungsweg zu beenden.
Wenn Sie beide einmal dahin gefahren wären.
So now we see Annalena Baerbock, the big loser. She's shown as very emotional. She's lashing out at them, even gonna point the fingers at them. Very aggressive symbol, like a weapon, judging. She's supposed to demolish herself here. Said she did her job and she is done.
Einmal mit den Kindern gesprochen hätten.
Here we see shaking the head in disbelief. Here we see again the reactions for dramatic effect.
Die aus dem Osten der Ukraine verschleppt worden wären. Einmal mit denjenigen gesprochen.
Here as well, she's very calm and unimportant, so she's really boring here.
Die vor den Toren Kiews gefoltert
Aber sie haben doch alles nur schlimmer
im
gemacht.
Kellern.
Here also the panning back and forth for dramatic effect, like in a mockumentary.
Und dann sich einmal vorstellen, sie würden da mit ihren Kindern
Here she tilts her head and looks annoyed and bored, a typical emblem for being bored.
leben, dann würden sie aber beten, dass Europa ihnen beistehen würde.
She's talking nonsense, totally emotional, totally irrelevant. She's done. Even she's sitting here in the center like she's representing the average German, the typical German, which is not true, of course.
Ich möchte gerne genau an der Stelle noch einmal kurz weiter. Frau Baerbock.
She's just so ridiculous.
Beistehen, sonst werden wir unseren Frieden in Europa nicht sichern können.
She's very boring. She just closes her eyes to get her out of her mind, but she's doing nothing. She's like sedated. She's the most passive person in this debate. She's completely irrelevant.
Patriotismus bedeutet, für Frieden in Deutschland und in Europa einzustehen.
Ja, wir müssen hier in Europa zusammenstehen. Wir müssen aber Sicherheit europäisch denken. Und wenn wir Sicherheit europäisch denken.
So from this debate we can see immediately who was supposed to win the election, who was selected effectively. That's the Christian Democrats, who were the most serious and they looked the most experienced and calm. The Social Democrats were very neutral, and the alliance Sarah Wagenknecht, she normally does quite well, but she just took enough votes from the Alternative for Germany. So she completed her job. And the feministic foreign policy stuff is over now as well, so that was also established. In terms of the mockumentary, we saw the panning of the camera to capture the emotions and responses from the people in the debate. Like this was some heavily debated issues here which were presented. And the guy from the Christian Democrats, he even looked and smiled in the camera for comic entertainment effect. Alice Weidel is not supposed to be part of the next government, so she played a very minor role here. She's in the waiting, she's a turtle here, and she was wearing the turtleneck. So the question now is, if this is staged, how does it work? If these were just actors, they would have to play their roles, there would be directors involved, it would be very elaborate to make this happen, that everyone says the right thing at the right time. So how is it even possible? I found Alice Weidel quite telling, that she played such a calm, unimportant role that is hard to achieve. Like she looked sedated. So what could happen is that this stuff is already produced by a very advanced AI, artificial intelligence. This is not the stuff we are playing around with, where you can normally tell if that's real or not. No, this is the real stuff in the background running the show. So that could be trained from the behavior of these people, these actors, and then the AI could be told what to show. It could be easily scripted, and then it just plays it out. So that's one option. That seems to be the most realistic option. Okay, so I think I stop here. Hopefully the video stays on. Hopefully it's not going to be taken down. So thank you again for watching. That's of course just my opinion. I'm looking forward to reading your comments to see how you think about this. And thank you again for watching, and I talk to you next time. Bye.